Hi, I'm Adam Meyer of Mill City Lutherie in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and in this video I'm going to show the process of custom making pickguards. I had a customer who wanted a replacement pickguard for his SG, but he wanted it in tortoise. It was not available, so he bought a sheet and brought it to me. I'm going to go through the process of making a template to duplicate and the various router bits that are needed to get the job done. So here's a rundown on the parts that I'll be using. I've got the original pickguard that I'm duplicating. Customer left this without the guitar. Don't need the guitar here right now. This is the sheet of plastic that he wants new pickguards cut out of. See, it's a tortoise with a white, black, white underneath. Comes a little curved. I got the camera a little close, but you can see that. So if you order something like this, notice it's curved. Just try and leave it somewhere flat so that it doesn't want to continue curving. I'll be making my template out of MDF. Anytime I make templates, I like to use this if I'm not making it out of plexiglass. It doesn't splinter like plywood, and especially if you're making something new or like an original design, I find that it's easier to make sure that you have a square edge using something like this. Eventually I use plexiglass for everything, but I may not make any more of these pickguards, so I'm just using this for now. I'll be starting to make the template with this bit. It's a spiral cut bit. Usually don't use it for these types of things, but if you can see there, it gets right down in that corner, so I won't have to fit that corner by hand. Then once I have the template cut out, I'll be sticking new pickguards onto the template. I'll cut the whole thing out with this, then switching and cutting the rest of them with this 60-degree beveled bit. Usually they're 45 degrees, but this bevel on the pickguard, I don't know if I can catch it here in the light, it's really steep. It's that 60 degrees, so I'll be finishing off with this. So time to get started. So I cut this out on the bandsaw. Got it, pretty close. Just don't want to have to cut a lot of material off, because sometimes, maybe not spiral cut bits, but sometimes a router will want to like catch and pull a lot of material off and might go past where your line is and wreck your piece. So just get it close. Now, what I'm going to do to duplicate this is I'm actually going to flip the pickguard face down. Reason being, since it's beveled, I'm going to use the tracer bit on the tracer bearing on the bit. You can see here, I'll adjust it about like that, and I have room to bring it up where the cutters are actually up above here, so I'm cutting the entire piece of MDF, but I still have the bearing riding on the pickguard. Usually you would add some spacers between the two. If this was like a squared off piece that we're trying to duplicate, we then need to have the pickguard up off the material a little bit so that the cutters actually get all the way up and cut all the way the entire side. So got some really strong double stick tape. I'll be sticking this on, and I'm not setting up for every time I'm cutting, because it's just a lot of times setting the camera up and stuff, but I'll see if I can get the table router any video of me cutting this out. But time to get that stuck on like that and keep moving. Alright, I have the master template cut out. Worked really well. You can see all these nice clean edges, no having to go back and sand anything. So remember that this is the way that the pickguard is supposed to be. I've got the original here. So imagine want to use or leave as little waste as possible. And this customer wants 3, so it'd probably be 1, 2, 3. Because I'm not going to be able to go that way. So what I'm going to do, since I run this on a table router or whatever, and I'm going to be sticking it, it'll actually be stuck like this for the bevel. I like to take some masking tape just for extra protection I'll stick that on here. So as I'm sliding it around on my bandsaw and table router, you can have little bits of debris that get underneath. You could scratch through the film protective coating. So I want to make extra special care here. And that should be, I'll put another piece on. That would be enough. So we've got to remember to do this. Bring it around back. And I'm going to copy this. Well, that's not working. This part doesn't really need to be precise because we've got the template to cut it out or to route it out later. Just need to know roughly where I'll be cutting it. I'm doing it on this side because it doesn't show up as well on this side. I mean, I could do it with the masking tape, but it's just more visible this way. So, all right, I'll do 2 more, get these cut out, and then I'll get it stuck on here. All 3 are now rough cut. So what I need to do, since they have a little bit of flex to them, make sure that I double stick at the corners really well. I'll take the tape I'm using, I'll put it actually over the edge, but then I'll trace and cut it off to make sure that I've got it stuck all the way out at the edges to hold it down as much. And this time we copied this way because we wanted the bearing to copy here, but now since we have got our template, we need to bring it, the workpiece, under here. The bearing will now trace the template instead of the original pickguard. So everything goes to the other side now. Alright, skipping ahead a little bit, I've got these now routed out to the full, or the correct size. Still have this one on the template because, well, I'm just, I need it on the template. I'm going to the next step, which is putting this on the router table. And this will then ride along and cut the bevel, just like that. It takes a larger chuck, so that's why I'm not switching back and forth as I'm doing this. Why I cut it out square all the way around. These edges through here need to remain. This one will get beveled, but it'll be beveled around here. So instead of just repeatedly taking my router out of the table, I'm just doing it this way. I'll have to change this on the top, so just that much is going to be sticking through. So it's wider hole. It's a little, got to be careful, make sure you're not tipping anything down in there. Also, there's going to be more of a bit exposed, so got to be really careful with this. So I'll get the rest of these cut, and then it'll be on to getting the screw holes. there you have it. It's kind of a simple process, but requires special tools to do the job, quickly and accurately. Had the customer only wanted one pick guard, I probably would have just cut it out by hand rather than going through all the setup time and everything. But since we're duplicating 3 of them, then it makes more sense to make a template so I can copy quickly and just kind of get the job done. So if you have any questions or want a similar job done or any of the other videos, my contact information is at the end of the video and in the About section of my YouTube channel. And we'll see you in the next video.